Now batting number 24, Rickey Henderson. That's pretty good, man. That's how the guy in Oakland used to do it.
See, then he go Rickey. He stand out that box. He dig in, kind of look out the pitch a little bit. Just a little intimidation factor. Then he dig in and he roll that top hand at you like, you have no chance today. This Rickey, son, this Rickey. Lean back a little bit, get in that stance, throw it on the shoulder, get the bat going. Oh, Rickey like that fat. Rickey like that. Oh, Rickey got. That felt way too good. Hey, y'all. Oh, that felt good. Rickey like that. Rickey. Then he get the first right and he slow down. And he get that little, and he get there. Boom, sideways, shoulders turn, and that's Rickey.
Nobody did Rickey Henderson like Jimmy Rollins, and that was from January of 2009, the very first show in MLB Network's history, the first day of operations here, and Jimmy gave us that gem. Jimmy was born in Oakland. He knew Rickey well. He was linked to Rickey through his father, who was very close with Rickey, and there are some great stories of Jimmy growing up an A's fan, a Rickey devotee. Jimmy, thanks for being with us, man. First of all, condolences to you and your family. I know that you are all very close with Rickey. I want to ask you to start out about a story where you first encountered Rickey and what you went through to get into a weight room early and have an encounter with a guy that you grew up idolizing.
Yeah, we were in, well, first of all, thank you, and condolences to his family and everyone that knew him. Via that story, we were in San Diego and had an off day, and Larry Boa threw a little seed out there. It was like, hey, you're off tomorrow, but I hear, the days that Rickey plays, he likes to come into the weight room early, do a couple curls, and I just thought you'd like to know that. And, back then, when you had an off day, you didn't show up until basically stretch. Well, I kind of did that anyway, but I was sitting around the hotel room, and that thought was just in my head. Like, I know Rickey. My dad had always told me as a kid growing up, if you ever want to meet Rickey, just let me know. And I'm like, yeah, everybody from Oakland knows Rickey, Dad. Like, everybody knows Oakland. One of those stories. And I hadn't officially met him. He's known me since I was a kid. I've ran into him, but just not like meeting Rickey. So I'm sitting around the hotel room doing nothing. And all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? What if Rickey's in there working out and you're sitting in your room doing nothing? So I get up early, and like I said, I have an off day. I walk into the clubhouse, and the first person I see is Larry Boa. And he walks, and I walk in, he's looking at me. He's like, what are you doing here so early? I was like, I just want to come and get some work in. I've been struggling a little bit, just want to get some work in. But he kind of gave me that look like, yeah, right. I know why you're here. So now I'm embarrassed. I'm the only one that knows what's going on. Bo knows what's going on. I'm the only one in the clubhouse on the day off. It's like 1:30 in the afternoon, stretches until like 4:30. So I'm a little embarrassed, but I'm like, whatever. So I start getting dressed. And as I'm getting dressed, I'm starting to get nervous. Like, what are you doing? Like, what if he's not there? You wasted a whole day coming to the clubhouse early, and Rickey's not even there. But I proceed to get dressed. And as I, get dressed, I walk out to the clubhouse, ask the security guard, where's the weight room? He points me to the right direction, third door on your right. I get to the door. And now it's like the little kid in me all over again. And I'm only in my second year, I think it is. And I started getting nervous as I opened the door. I'm like, what if he's in there? What do you do? What do you say? And you have this whole game plan. You think you're big and bad until you meet your hero, And I crack the door, and sure enough, I see Rickey in there doing some curls, and his eyes locked with my eyes. And now I shut the door fast, and I'm like, oh, my goodness, Rickey's in there. But then it's like, he saw me, like, what are you doing? Like, you're here to kind of meet Rickey. You're not here to lift. So now my game plan starts all over. It's like, what am I going to do? All right, get yourself together, because he already saw you. Don't be no punk. Just go in there. So I walk in. Rickey's in there, hitting he has some 25 or 30-pound dumbbells in his hand. And I see the weight. I'm like, man, you can't go out there and outlift Rickey. So wherever he is, I'm looking like, okay, I got to go 5 pounds less. So he's in there doing his curls, and I try to go deep voice, like, what's up, Rick? He looks at me. He was like, what's up, little James? And now my whole world is shook, because everybody at that point called me J-Roll. No one ever called me James, but my dad goes by James. He's the only one that goes by James. And so now I'm just in there like, oh, snap, he knows my name. Not Jimmy, not J-Roll. He really knows my name. Only family members would ever call me James. So he's in there doing curls, and I kind of look over to him like, Rick, I just want to tell you my favorite player. You know, he starts laughing. It's like, oh, man, you make me feel old. And in my mind, I'm like, you are old, but you're still my favorite player. And so Rickey walks out. He's done doing his weights. And I'm sitting in there just in shock, just like, Rickey knows my name. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. You know, I had to be a man. You know, I couldn't cry in front of Rickey.
Yeah.
So Rickey leaves. I'm just sitting there just really in shock for like the next 5 to 10 minutes. And I didn't want to leave immediately just in case Rickey came back in. Now he knows I was just there to meet him. This is all going on in my head. He had no clue I was there. So I walked back to the clubhouse. And I guess I just had this look on my face. And who's there once again? Larry Boa. And he was like, was he in there? And I was like, yeah, he was in there, Bo. And he laughed and went into his locker room or to his office. I got on the phone and called my dad immediately. I'm like, Dad, I just met Rickey. And he started laughing. I was like, but he called me Little James. He's like, I told you he since you were a kid. I'm like, but no, you don't understand. He didn't call me Jimmy. He didn't call me J-Roll. He called me Little James. And, you know, everybody's laughing, but they all understood my love and appreciation for Rickey just as a person, for what he meant for me in my career. And here was my one opportunity to take this moment out of my non-busy day to do something I normally ever do, and that's get to the field early just to meet him, and it happened.
It was well worth it.
Well worth it.
It's a great story.
I tell you, everybody talks a lot about Rickey speaking in third person and a lot of funny things about him, but the one constant you always hear, he was incredible. I talked to Fred McGriff,
Yes.
He said he was the greatest. I locked right next to him every day. He just was so warm and generous and kind with his time. I want to know, outside of that story, you meet him, now your big league career goes on, you continue your Hall of Fame candidate yourself. Did Rickey employ anything for you that you might have learned in a conversation with him?
No, not really. You know what? We never talked baseball. We always just talked a lot of trash back and forth to each other, kind of like a big brother, little brother conversation, really. And every time I see him, I'd ask him for his jersey, like I still haven't gotten it. He was like, oh, man, it's in the mail. How come you didn't let me know? Let Fred know. Tell Fred to get you a jersey and get it to me. I was like, no, I'm talking to you. I don't want to go through Fred. I want to hand it over by you. You know, just went back and forth. But that's really what I wanted from him. I didn't really want anything baseball-wise. I think I watched him his entire career, and I was in Rickey's head when he was playing. When he was on first base, I'm still in bases with him. When he was at the plate, I was, you know, going through the pitch, through the at-bat, what they're trying to do, all those things with him. So when I met him as a human being, I didn't really want anything baseball from him, just for him to know the appreciation that I had from him. Being from Oakland, making to the big leagues, being the player that he was, and transcending the game. Because when I saw Rick, it wasn't just a baseball player. He was an entertainer, from the way he wore his pants to the wristband batting gloves, to the way, you know, he popped his collar when he don't run, the way he would snatch the ball when he caught it. All those things I did because of him. So I felt like I was like little Rickey, and I didn't need any baseball stuff. I just wanted the big brother.
Well, those are all things we loved about him as a fan, too. Jimmy, I want to ask you this because you mentioned you and Rickey both born in Oakland. And there is this fraternity of players, of great players, who were either born in or grew up in Oakland. We're talking about Joe Morgan, Willie Stargell from Alameda, Dave Stewart, Frank Robinson. There's this fraternity of players, specifically great black players who grew up in that area. Talk about what it's like to be in that group and how close that little fraternity is.
It's definitely a privilege and honor to carry on that legacy. And it's always been something of mine, just knowing all the Hall of Famers that have come from the Bay Area, specifically Oakland. I was like, you know, the buck can't stop with Rickey. It has to go on. I know we have CC on the ballot this year. It was another guy from the Bay Area, all Rickey Henderson's fans. So the legacy of creating a Hall of Famer from the Bay Area will definitely go on in one way or the other. But you feel special. In Oakland, baseball was big. If you weren't playing baseball in the summers, it's like, what are you doing? Almost like you couldn't, if you weren't playing baseball in the summer, don't hang with us. Like, go do something else, because we all played ball here. The Oakland A's were winning, and it was what we did. It was part of our culture. So when I made it to the big leagues, and I've made it clear, I've never been shy about it. Yes, I want to be a Hall of Famer, and I think people took that the wrong way, but it was the legacy of, do you know where I'm from? and what I have to live up to. I can't let those that have come before me and paved the way, I can't let them down by not putting my best performance on the field, one, being a champion, and two, at the end of my career, putting myself in position to be in the Hall of Fame. So that's where it all came from. And when you have that greatness around you, there's no way you can't be inspired by that. If you played baseball, you were Rickey Henderson at some point.
Jimmy, thanks for a few minutes here, man, under terribly difficult circumstances. Thanks for sharing some memories. We appreciate the time.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
Jimmy Rollins joining us as we eulogize and celebrate the life of one of the all-time greats, the man of steel, gone at the age of 65. More on the passing of Rickey Henderson, the all-time runs scored and stolen base leader in the history of the sport, next.